Hi everybody, this is Em from DIYM. Today I'm going to show you how you guys can use your dyes in some different ways. I'm going to continue on with my Sailor Moon theme, but you can totally use this for Halloween, which is what this was released for, the Black Cat theme. So this was a KSCrafts dye and looks like this. I haven't done anything with it. It comes with really cool Halloween stuff like this spiderweb, bats, this little cat, and bones and things like that. I don't even know what this is, to be honest. Oh, it's the nose. If you want to do the nose, and then there's whiskers for the cat too. I'm not going to do any of this stuff. A different position for the cat, a ghost, and a pumpkin. So it comes with a whole bunch of cute little Halloween bits and pieces. I just want to use this guy here. So this actually is going to have a bit of a stitch mark. This one does too. So this one's, I think, a little bit smaller than this outline here. So this is if you want to do like a shaker, but I just wanted to have this smaller silhouette of this die, and I'm going to make a professional looking image in Illustrator, Photoshop, that sort of thing, of Luna and Artemis's head. I'm going to take an image that already exists of a face for them, and then I'm going to trace it out, I guess, in Illustrator. What you can do though, if you wanted to, you could do something similar, trace it out on Procreate and do some adjustments, and like I'm going to do here. So there's going to be some digital footage of me trying to make the images of the two faces, and then I'm going to print them up and die cut them out. Basically, you can manufacture this stuff. This is a really big die, to be honest, but you can do smaller ones, and if you want to, you can put a whole bunch of small things kind of like this on a page. So you can take your regular everyday dies, if it's a silhouette, and you can just make a professional image. So I'm doing Luna and Artemis from Sailor Moon, but you can do your own cat face or any kind of cat face. You can draw it in Illustrator, Photoshop, or Procreate, or you can even cut out an image already, draw it in, scan that, and then make a whole bunch of those for ephemera if you wanted to, and you can put this on cards or whatever you'd like to do. You can even make it a full-on card out of this, which is really cool as well. But yeah, I'm going to take this, scan it on the computer, so we'll do that next, and then I'm going to show you the digital artwork for this as well next. So this is my printer. I just wanted to show you guys how to scan stuff. So I'm just gonna put in this die here, the cat die, and then I'm just gonna stick it here. There's an arrow right here. So I'm just going to try to put this guy in here and close the lid. You put whichever way you want. Pop down the lid, and then I'm going to zoom in and show you guys what to do here. Okay, so in order to scan, there's all these different options here, right? So there's maintenance, Wi-Fi setup, copy, print photos, scan, personal stationery, quiet mode, settings, maintenance, back to that one. So I'm going to go to scan, obviously, here, and then I'm going to press this as select mode, so okay. It says to memory, to computer JPEG, to computer PDF, to computer email, to computer WSD, and then to memory again. So I want to do to computer JPEG, and it says okay to proceed. And then it goes USB connection, desktop, and then it just says my desktop, I guess. And then all these different options that you can scroll down here. You can scroll up or down. So I want to go to this desktop. So then I press this diamond shape here to scan it to the desktop. And then it says it's scanning. And then it says it's complete. So I'm just going to back out of all this. Take this out, but yeah, I'm gonna check it out at the computer and show you guys that scan, okay? So I have the head of a cat here. First I'm gonna put it on my desktop. I'm gonna put it in Illustrator. And then I'm gonna open image 001 here. So now I've got this guy. Let's zoom out slightly. Okay, I just wanna get an ellipse tool. Click on this white guy here and then put none so that I can see what I'm doing a little bit more. And you totally don't need to do this, guys. I just find this a little easier to work with when you're working with a traced image. Okay, and then I'm going to the pen tool, and then I'm going to add an anchor point, okay? So I'm just going to add an anchor point here at the base of the ears. And there, and there, and there. So right where the ears are. And then I'm going to do the middle of the ears right here. Add an anchor point, okay? And then I'm going to take the direct selection tool here. And I'm going to just pull it up to the tip of the ears. Like that. And then I'm going to play with the toggles. So the outline's not going to be perfect. You're going to see I don't want it to be perfect anyways. I'm going to most likely go outside the line, but I kind of want to get close to it just for this. Okay, so I've got this, and I'm going to bring this into Photoshop. Save as cat head die blank. and then I'm just gonna put it as a Adobe Illustrator, so just an AI image. So that should be on my desktop now. So I have this here. So I'm gonna drag it into Photoshop. Drag and drop this in here. So I got this now. Oh, whoops. Sorry. Should have done something here. I'm gonna delete this guy right now. And then I'm just gonna have this outline like this. Save as. And then I'm just gonna put outline. Save that on my desktop as well. Forgot to do that. Sorry, guys. Okay, so I'm gonna just X this off. Bring this into Adobe Photoshop. Okay. Alright, there we go. We got this now. And this could be a thicker outline or whatever you want to do there. I'm just going to move this slightly here. And I'm also going to rotate this image. Alright, we've got this cat head here. What can we do with this? I'm just going to give it a bit of a thicker line. So stroke, maybe 10. Okay, and then I'm also going to just slightly make it a little bit more even. If I want to, I can just make this whole thing black. I don't want it to be contiguous or something. I don't know, whatever it's called. I'm not sure. A lot of self-taught stuff here, guys. But I think it's called contiguous. And then magic wand tool here. And I'm going to click the inside now. Okay, so that's just the inside here. So I want the whole inside to be black. So the outside is a deeper black, and then so is the inside. And actually, here, I'm going to just deselect. I'm going to make this stroke a little bit larger, maybe by 20. Just because I want it to be really big. I'm going to save this as a silhouette. I think that's how you spell silhouette? Silhouette? I don't even know. It's so hard to spell that word. Okay, and then I'm just going to see if I can do something with the outline here. Let's see. I'm going to rotate this guy again. I'm going to try to bring it into my image. Copy Control C for the Windows, because that's what I'm on right now. And then I'm going to do Control V. So you're not going to be able to see it probably because it's just an outline at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go stroke, but I'm also going to change the color of the stroke. I'm actually going to go white up here. There we go. 5 for the stroke. And this is how much it's skewed, okay? So let us tilt it and see how much of an outline there is. Okay, so this is pretty much where your die is gonna go. This is just a guide right now. I'm gonna probably hide this in a bit. I'm gonna go down to my actual silhouette layer, and I'm probably going to make the outline much bigger than this. Just because I want a lot more wiggle room, like a bleed, so when I do die cut, I can get in the lines and I can actually see the lines outside the die, if that makes sense to everybody. So with my stroke, I think, let's see, I'll try 30. I could go even further, so I might do 40. Yeah, I'll do 40. So a lot of the image is going to be within this outline here. I'm going to try to make a face within this outline. And then this is just a bleed border. But yeah, I will make that disappear just by clicking this layer I off. And I'm just going to have layers on top of this. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. And it doesn't have to be black. It could be whatever color you want to make it. So I want to do Luna. You can do any cat face you want that sort of fits in here. But I'm going to see if I can squeeze something that looks like Luna in here. So I might just make a face in Illustrator. You could probably make a face in Photoshop. It's just going to take a long time. But you could also probably make a face with Procreate. I find is quick enough to do stuff. You can do some tracing if you want to. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to find a few faces on Google of Luna. So she's got quite long ears, to be honest, so I'm going to try to squeeze her face into this kind of image. So this is actually a pretty good one here, showing her full face up front. Oh, look at this. Right click with my mouse, save image as, desktop, save. So I could do Artemis and Luna. So I've got a couple things to work with here, so I'm just going to close that. And then I'm going to just... So I'm going to go open Illustrator, and then I'm going to open up a new file. So I'm going to actually close this one for now. I've already saved it, so it's fine. Open. Okay, so this is a cool one here. It's not going to match up probably size-wise with my image, but I can size it to fit. So what I want to do is just going to get the outlines down. So it looks like Luna and Artemis are very similar. It's just she's got shorter eyebrows, he's got longer eyebrows. She looks like she has a pupil here. He doesn't seem to have that. There's a few key differences. She's got some little, I don't even know what this is called here. She's got eyelashes. He doesn't. They both have a very similar crescent. Not fully, because his look looks thicker and hers looks a little thinner. But yeah, it looks like she's got some little markings here. So I'm gonna go with the face for Artemis. And if you don't want to trace things, I guess you can always just do some shenanigans with copying and pasting a lot of the stuff and erasing things in layers. But I want to make things a little bit more professional looking. I may not put the shadows for everything, like their ears in there. I'm gonna make this a fairly flat image. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit on Artemis. And there's so many ways of doing this way faster than what I'm doing right now, actually. But I always want to show people the long way of doing things. And you can trace this, as I said, a lot easier in Procreate. But this is actually a pretty accurate eye, I feel, that I just did. I'm just going to copy and paste that, maybe. Control C and Control V. Kind of matches up, but I might turn things around slightly. Object, transform, reflect. And now I'm going to do something similar with the eye part here. Okay, so this is actually perfect because this is right here. So I'm going to do another add anchor point right here. And then I'm going to do another one in the middle. And then I'm going to take this direct selection tool and I'm going to drag this middle point up here. And I'm going to bring up these anchors as well so that there's no rounded corners here. It's just straight flat like that. And then I'm going to take this selection tool, copy with Control C and then Control V. And then again, I'm going to flip it. So I'm going to go to Object, Transform, Reflect, Vertical 90 degrees, Angle. And then I'm going to bring this on over to the opposite side. So that should sit right inside, if I did things accurately, right inside there. Okay. And then I'm going to do another ellipse tool shape. Might make this slightly smaller here. So I'm just going to shift with this direction tool and then bring it down slightly. And then I'm going to bring it up a little bit like that. But I want to keep the stroke at one point. So then copy, paste. And then I'm also going to transform that same way, reflect, and then angle 90 degrees. Okay, everything's vertical 90 degrees. Perfect. So everything's kind of lining up. All right, cool. So now we've got his eyes. And now I'm going to do some cool stuff here with the moon or the crescent part. So I don't know why it's doing this, but whatever, it's fine. I want the stroke to have a color, so I'm just going to do black there for the outline. So there's a few different ways of doing this. You can do what I've been doing, which is basically adding the points here, you know, all that sort of stuff. You can totally do that. I'm just going to bring this out slightly, actually. There we go. Make sure that this is at 1 point. All right, so I'm going to try something different here, guys. Let's see if this works. So I'm going to actually do another ellipse tool. Put that in the middle there, cross that over, and again I'm going to do a black outline. Okay, so I'm just going to also take the direct selection tool. I'm just going to highlight both of these. So I'm just going to click on this and then press shift and click on this guy. Okay, that's it, just these two. All right, and then I'm going to see how it says shape modes. So there's unite, minus front, intersect, and then there's exclude. So I'm going to minus front and see what happens. There we go, perfect. So when I did the minus front, it made a crescent perfectly, which is so awesome. Okay, so I got that. I'm gonna do the nose, the mouth, the eyebrows, whiskers. So let's do the nose because this is probably the easiest part here. And we're gonna color a lot of the stuff in too to match the colors here, but we'll do that later. I just want to get the outlines down here. And then another ellipse tool, and I might do the minus front thing again. I'm just gonna copy and paste this guy. Copy, paste. Okay, so I'm gonna also minus front here. Let's do all 3 of these, and let's see what happens if I do the minus front. Okay, so this is interesting. So I'm just gonna delete these points here. Okay, so now it's just left with this part right here. I think I have too many points happening here, so I'm just gonna minus some points here. Bring this out a bit. There, that looks a little bit more even. Bring that down slightly. Okay. Control minus, control minus, control minus. All right. Actually, I want to zoom in again. Not too much, but okay. So we'll zoom in a bit. I'll look at this later without the background, but I just want to get the basic shapes down. So now I'm going to do pen tool. Add some points here. Convert anchor point tool, bring this out a little bit, okay? But I don't like it like that. I'm just gonna bring it up a little bit like that. I'm gonna copy and paste that and move it on to the other side like I've been doing, just to keep this face fairly even and accurate, okay? So Control C, Control V. And then I'm just going to go to Object, Transform, Reflect, Angle 90 degrees, and that's vertical. This whole image is not fully even, it seems. But I'm going to try to make it even as much as I can. Control minus that. Okay, so I've got the mouth, the nose, all that stuff. So all I have to do now is the outline of the ears, the eyebrows, and then some whiskers. Okay, first I'm going to do the eyebrows. Fairly straightforward, I think. So just do pen tool. 3 points here with the pen tool, like that. Make sure that this has black outline. Convert anchor point tool and just bring that out. Trace it like that, okay? Control C, Control V. And then I'm going to do what I've been doing, shifting things around, object, transform, reflect, vertical 90 degrees. Okay, the selection tool, I'm gonna click on it and then I'm gonna drag it up and it's aligned there. Okay, and then I'm gonna do whiskers, I think, first, what I just did, pen tool, 3 points, and then again we'll have to do some black here, and if you want you can do a little bit of a curve. I'm going to get in there a little bit just to see if I need a bit of a curve, which I do, I think. So I'm just going to bring it up slightly here and then give it a slight curve by getting the convert anchor point tool and then just bringing out these toggles just slightly. Oops, not too far. Yeah, it's just giving it a little bit of a curve. Okay, so I'm going to get this whole thing instead of this, because this just brings, basically when you do the copy paste thing, it just copies and pastes one part of the line, right? So I want the whole thing. So Control C, Control V, and I'm going to just tilt things a little bit with these arrows, just slightly. I'm going to bring in the points a bit. And then I'll just do another one down here. Copy, paste. Control, minus, minus, minus. Okay, cool. Got that. So yeah, selection tool. And then I'm pressing shift and also clicking on this guy. And then I'm going to press shift and I'm going to click on this guy as well. And then I'm going to press Control C and then Control V. So that's just duplicated all 3 of those. And then I'm going to go to Object, Transform, Reflect, angle 90 degrees, and then okay. Place this on the other side of his face. So I didn't extend it out because it's probably just going to get cut off when I cut things out with the die cut. This is kind of fun too, like in case you're doing a black cat, you can do whatever shape you want. You don't have to do the specific shape. Say you're doing a black cat theme for Halloween or something like that, and this is really cool to do for that. So last thing I want to do is the ears, and then I'm going to duplicate everything, bring it down, and then I'm going to add different parts of Luna's face because it's very similar face, as I said, just different eyebrows, different other areas around her face. Okay, so we're going to do the ear part now, and this might be adjusted when we actually bring this into the Photoshop image that we have. I want to do pen tool, points here. I'm actually going to do one there, one in the middle there, back up like that. And now I'm going to do the convert anchor tool, bring things out like I like to do just to make subtle arches. Sometimes things get twisted around a bit. I'm gonna zoom in a bit just so I can see if it looks okay. The arc looks pretty good. So now I'm gonna do the selection tool and then I'm gonna click on that, Control C, Control V, okay? And then I'm gonna also do Object, Transform, Reflect, vertical angle 90 degrees, perfect. And then I'm just gonna move this with the selection tool over. Again, it's not perfect because the person doing this is good, but they're not doing things completely accurately from what I can see. And then I'm going to zoom out, so Control, minus, 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 minus. So now I'm going to select this. Okay, I'm just moving this for now. So that actually looks pretty good. So I'm just going to move that out of the way for now. So I'm just going to copy and paste things. So copy this whole thing, right? Take the whole selection tool, go over everything, copy that. Control C, and then Control V. Move this down here. I'm just going to move Luna. I'm just going to try to move her into this. So she looks like she's kind of a little bit different. That's okay. I'm going to put her off to the side here. Instead of tracing, I'm just going to use her as a reference for now. So I'm also going to do some stuff here that I didn't do before. Instead of having to adjust everything the same way, I'm just gonna copy these guys here. Control C, Control V, Object, Transform, Reflect, okay, delete. It was around here, right? Yeah, something like that, around there. So I'm gonna move those eyes down. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna delete this here. And then I'm just gonna copy and paste Okay, so that's a little bit better. Super cute. All right. Yes, I'm just going to give her similar face stuff. I think I'm going to keep the crescent the way it is. Maybe I'll bring it up a little bit so it looks a little bit smaller. So her eyebrows are kind of different than his. I'm going to delete these eyebrows altogether. Pen tool with her eyebrows. Control C, Control V. Perfect. Awesome. Copy, paste that. And then object, transform, reflect, vertical, 90 degrees. Okay. Cool. And then I'm going to do her eyelashes as well. This is a lot of tracing, guys. I'm going to zoom out a bit. I just want to bring it in slightly. Okay, because this is not lining up fully, I'm just gonna bring this in a little bit here, just so it matches up a bit. Sometimes you just need to adjust some stuff here. It's kind of annoying, but what can you do? This one's a little over, so I'm just gonna bring it out slightly. So it's just gonna be slightly inaccurate. It's not gonna be fully mirror image, but whatever, it's okay. Okay, so we got two different things here. If you want, we can add these little lines there. It's not necessary, but we can do that. So it's kind of near the whiskers. I'll just do it real quick. I'm just gonna do random. Something like that. There we go. Okay, and then again, if I want to, I can add this little part here, which is not totally necessary, but I can attempt it. I'm gonna do some shenanigans here, guys. Minus this, bring this down. And then I'm gonna also fill this in. So this is also gonna be black. There you go. It's a lot of fiddling around. Again, it's way more complex tracing than most people do, or would want to do, I guess. I always do things the hard way. Okay, so I'm zooming out. Okay, this is another way to zoom out, if it appears. And then, okay, so I'm gonna do this guy. Okay. Alright, you got something cool going on here, I think. I also want to make the line a little bit thicker on everything. I'm just gonna highlight all these guys here. And then I'm going to do stroke 2. Amazing. Alright. I'm going to delete this stuff here. Alright, so I'm going to color some of these images in here. Black 2-point stroke. I'm just going to copy this side with this dropper tool. There we go. So then I can keep a line work. I think it's the same color of tongue, so I'm just gonna go with it. Oh, and I have to do their noses and stuff. I forgot about that. Okay, I'll do that in a second. So cute. Oh, I think I might, these guys here, I might do a different stroke. Yeah, a slightly different stroke, because it's a little more delicate. I think that'll be good. Okay, and then I'm gonna just do blue for Artemis. Awesome. That looks so cute. Yeah, so I wanted to color those guys in to show you guys. I feel like this is very orange, but whatever. You know what? It's kind of cool for Halloween if you're doing Luna or something like that, or some sort of Halloween swap or whatever. The one thing that I'm not into is this crescent moon needs to be a little bit better. I don't know. I think that's fine. There we go. Yeah, it's more of a delicate crescent. I don't know. It's not the exact same or anything. It's not super even or whatever, but whatever. It works. Okay, so I'm just gonna delete this. As I said, I'm not gonna do a lot of shadows and things. I don't think I'm gonna do this for Artemis. But anyways, I got the basic face for what I want for the Sailor Moon thing. So the ears I'm gonna have to play with probably, as I said. So that'll be interesting to do. We'll make it work. So save, desktop. Artemis and Luna face. Okay, this is Adobe Illustrator AI. Save that. Pull up my Photoshop here. Pull in this file here. Alright. Copy. paste. Oh, I forgot to do something. This is always good to see too. Okay, so I forgot to put the whites of their eyes in here, but that's okay. I can also fix it and adjust that here. Yeah, the ears are definitely gonna have to be played with a bit here. Delete these ears right now. And then right in here, I'm gonna make this the same color white as this here. Okay, cool. Deselect that. Okay, I'm gonna make the background her proper color. So I'm gonna bring in the original image in Photoshop. I'm just gonna select this color. Cool. Okay, there's effects here, right? Stroke. I want to change the color to this exact color here. Awesome. Here, let's try to put some ears in. Copy. Paste. I'm gonna actually put layer 4. I'm gonna work with this. I'm just gonna erase these things here. Okay, and I'm just gonna press shift and bring this on out. It's kind of neat. So yeah, so her face is gonna look a little different, but it's gonna look pretty cool, I think, in the end at the same time. So let's try copying this. I'm gonna do copy, so duplicate layer, transform, flip horizontal. There you go. That's looking pretty cool. I'm gonna take that out of there. Okay, new inches 8.5 by 11. I'm gonna drag and drop this over there. The one thing I don't love about this is things are getting cut off here. Let's see if we can bring these ears down a bit then. A lot of adjusting that you have to do sometimes with these things. Okay, I'm gonna delete this. Do a duplicate of this guy. And then I'm going to transform this guy. Edit. Transform. Flip horizontal. Cool. Okay, I'm gonna back out of this image here. Okay, so this is gonna look kind of crazy for now, but it might look really cool when we actually cut things out. So save as Luna head die, and that's not blank anymore. I'm gonna put Luna head die to save it as a TIFF, and then I'm gonna also save this as PNG. And just see how that works out. I'm just gonna bring the PNG in. I'm gonna make a folder for all this too, this whole project. This is the PNG version. Move that into here. Just drag and drop that. Copy this whole thing into this entitled 8.5 by 11 thing. Oh, look at that. Okay, so this is the exact size that I'm gonna be working with. This is a big die. So I'm gonna move this up a bit, because I want to make room for an Artemis one. And a lot of these whiskers are going to be cut off by the die, but I want overbleed, as I've said before. And same with the cat ears, it's going to look a lot less crazy, I think, once I cut everything out. So it's not going to have an outline around it, but that's okay. I think it's going to look really cute in the end anyways. So let's do Artemis as well, kind of the way I have it here. Let's get Artemis's face. So these ears here, I'm basically just gonna fill them with the color of Artemis's ears. I think that's gonna be the easier thing to do. And then I'm gonna do a whole new layer right above the Luna face. Deselect this. I'm gonna do a whole layer above the Luna face. That's gonna be Artemis's face. Okay, that's fine. Delete his ears. Deselect. And then I'm gonna also fill in the whites of his eyes. Deselect. But yeah, it's kind of interesting how his face and Luna's face doesn't fully line up, which is interesting. I think that's as close as I'm probably gonna get, because I know I adjusted the eyebrows and I adjusted this crescent. Okay, cool. So then this part here, so I'm gonna do his white face. Okay, so I'm gonna actually duplicate this. Okay, so he's all white now. And then I'm also going to extend that stroke, make it the same color as him as well. Deselect. So there's gonna be the outline cuts everything off when I die cut everything. Okay, so that's cool. So I'm gonna basically save this as, okay, Artemis head die. Save that as a TIFF. file and then save as a PNG as well. Okay, so this is gonna look a lot more professional. It's a lot of work, but you can also make tons of these if you wanted to. Just print off a bunch of this stuff. This is gonna make things a lot more professional in the end, I think. I know it's a lot of steps though, guys. Whoops. There we go. So I'm gonna put the PNG in here. Oops, I forgot. I did not mean to do this. My bad. Okay, when I saved it, I did not mean to save it with this outline. So I'm just gonna do that. Okay, so save as Artemis heads TIFF. Yep, I'm gonna resave, replace it. Yep. And then I'm also gonna replace the PNG that I just did. Sorry about that, guys. Alright, let's try this again. Copy, paste. And this probably won't show up. I'm just gonna change the background to layer 0 and then delete the background. Okay, yeah, this probably won't show up here. I'm gonna move these both up a bit, so move it individually. Okay, so yes, I'm gonna see if I can try to get them on the same page and then I can cut them both out. Alright, so I'm gonna print these guys up on cardstock and see what we can do with that and try to cut that stuff out with a die. Print. Okay, so I scanned it. I got this out of the scanner. I already have everything printed, so I'll show you that. It turned out really cute, right? So that's gonna be how that looks. And then I can just basically place this on. Yeah, so this is the exact outline that I wanted. Yeah, so I might do Luna first with the die, and then I will move on to Artemis afterwards, because I think it's a little bit harder to line up Artemis because he's all white on the sheet of paper. Okay, so I'm gonna cut these guys out. I'm gonna do that off camera, by the way, die cutting. I've done die cutting on my channel before. You can tape things down with some washi tape. If you want to protect things, because I find my washi tape kind of rips the paper a little bit, but if you want to make sure it's even, it's good to have washi tape on hand. If it rips a little bit, I would recommend maybe laminating it, at least one-way lamination. You don't have to necessarily do that, so I'm probably not going to actually do that. So yeah, I just want to put these guys through with my die cutting tool. Okay, so hopefully it doesn't shift too much, but if it does, there's quite a bit of a bleed border that I've left for them, so it should be okay, I think. Okay, so I'm gonna die cut that with my die cutting tool, and I've got like a big shot plus. Okay, so here are the die cuts. I think they look super cute and professional. So this is, as you can see, the bleed line. If you want to add whiskers, you can totally cut out whiskers with this die set. I'm gonna try to, if I can find it, because this is an older die set from a year or two ago. I'm gonna link the link down below for it if I can find this at all. But yeah, you can totally cut out whiskers if you wanted to as well and put them on these guys, but I don't think it's really necessary. I think that the illusion of whiskers is good enough. You can take the bigger outline as well if you wanted to cut a card and have a bit of a border around the images. You can take a sheet of cardstock, fold it in half to make an actual card, and then you can, depending on how you want to have it, you can put a little bit of the edge just a little bit off the folded edge and run it through the die cut machine, and then you can make a card that way, and then you can glue this on top of the card. Yeah, I don't know, I think they look really cute. Looks like Artemis's face looks a lot bigger, but yeah, I think it looks really cute in the end. What do you guys think of this project? Would you guys do something along these lines? Drop me a line down below if this is too much work for you, which is totally fair. I get it, but honestly, this didn't take me that long. Once I have the files all laid out, then you can just keep making stuff like this for people if you wanted to, which I think is a really cool thing. If you wanted to, if you had a similar shaped die, because sometimes these dies come in nesting dies, or maybe a few sizes down, like there's a smaller one, medium sized one, and a larger one. You can always try to size these down to fit those specific dies as well in a similar way. It's up to you guys, and you don't have to necessarily keep doing the outline. That was just me trying to make things look more professional when I'm printing stuff. So, but yeah, I think that this looks really cool in the end. This is a really fun embellishment for a gift bag if you want to do a gift bag for somebody, or a card. There's so much you can do with this. I honestly really love it. I think it's really fun. As I said, you can totally make your own artwork too. You don't have to take from the internet like I just did. I was just trying to show you guys really quickly the possibilities of what you could do and showing you the concept of the bleed lines to make a really cool image like this. You can even add paper cleaners or something like that as a fun little element. You can add sparkles to things. You can even add a little bit of a darker marker on here just to highlight the eyes or make the ears stand out a little bit more, or have a little bit of shadow, some sparkle or some gold even on the crescent part. I think that would be really cool too. So much fun stuff that you could do. I'm just going to show you guys here. I turn these into cards. This is folded here, and then I glue the image over top down with Barely Arts glue. and line things up as much as I could just by straightening it. And then when it felt like it was straight, then I just glued it down that way. So you can basically do the card like that. I also did it like this. You want to do a card as well, so a lot of this has been taken off. The die is basically coming off the fold, so that, I mean, you can do it so that there's a big gap if you want to. It's up to you, but I kind of wanted it to open up like a regular card. So it has a little bit hanging off here. But yeah, you can totally make embellishments for bags or something kind of large as well. But gift bags, I think, are really nice. I was thinking I have sparkly no shed paper that you can print in the printer. So you can even print these guys up on like sparkly paper. Or if you want to, you can just say you want to print it up, cut out specific bits, and then glue the specific bits down. Like say you want sparkly eyes and sparkly crescent moon or whatever. You can cut that out and just glue that down as well. There's so much cool stuff you can do with this. And if you want to, you can always do regular glitter methods just by adding glitter glues and things like that. Or cut out shapes, do some foiling. I think there's ways of getting, I think it's like a zig, get a zig pen and put some sort of foil down and then get gold crescent moons. So there's all sorts of different ways of making things look cool and different and professional as well on top of that. So anyways, I think this is a really fun project. I hope you guys like this. If you did, please give me a like, subscribe, and share the video with anybody who you think is going to enjoy this sort of thing. Taking your dies and making really cool, you don't have to stamp things. You can just make digital images with your dies, silhouettes, or your shadow pieces. You could do any shape or whatever you'd like. It doesn't have to be a cat face. So that's pretty much it, I guess. This is kind of a different concept. I don't think I've seen people talking about this on the internet, probably because it looks like it takes a while to do, but the general concept isn't that hard. This actually didn't take that long. It didn't take that many hours to do or anything. And honestly, the cutting out process, that was so easy. It was really ridiculously easy. Anyways, I hope you guys like that. Take care. Have a good one. Bye. Happy crafting.